Good morning. Happy Sunday. Again, for those that don't know me, as I'm a mental health therapist, and I'm here just to spread love, positivity, mental health awareness, and just joy. And today I want to ask, are you filling up your love cup the way you deserve to be loved? Everyone has a love cup. And for this, I'm really referencing this cup here. Now, it's a pretty small cup, so I'm not saying you don't have a lot of love, but what I am just using this as to represent how much love maybe we can give to yourselves. Right? So let's say this is your love cup. Pretty empty. So with that being said, you may have another well where you're giving love, right? And I want to know, let's say you are filling up your love cup, which you're doing a good job. So you're giving a whole bunch of love to yourself. Notice like as you give more love, it's just like the cup becomes fuller and fuller and fuller until you get to the top, right? And this could be things like self-care, positive affirmations, maybe giving back to the world, whatever. You're just like filling up love with things that make you feel good. Now, what sometimes ends up happening is you might have a rough day, right? You might have a moment where you just like, you feel like you mess up and you say like, I'm not good enough. I'm just a terrible person. Maybe you've been hurt by someone else. And these things can take love out of your cup. And so I'm going to show you what that actually might look like. So you might be someone who does a really good job loving yourself and filling yourself with love. Okay. Sometimes things just happen. And when these things happen, they poke a hole in your love cup, right? And that's just one thing. Maybe you can still do your best to like fill your love up. It's not coming out that much. And then another thing happens. Man, I feel like I'm a terrible person. Then more love comes out. Wow, I just feel like things just aren't ever going to get better. Another thing comes out, okay? What ends up happening is you barely have any love left to give, even to yourself, okay? And what ends up happening, if we don't even fill up the source of where your love comes from, whether that's for you, things you like to do, faith, what have you, every time you try to pour back into yourself, if we never address the wounds, you can only go so far. No matter what you try to do, it just feels like you can't fulfill yourself, or it doesn't last that. Sometimes what happens when we're trying to fill up our love cup is we're never actually filling and trying to address the holes that are causing us to feel depleted. This is probably where a lot of the source of mental health concerns, low self-esteem, low motivation come from. Is there is an attempt, right? You may really try so hard to fill yourself with love, do things that you like, and the thing that happens is you just never feel like it's enough. We do our best to put our effort into our work, so maybe, just maybe, I can feel like I'm doing good enough, or I feel like I am accomplishing things, or that I'm worth something. The thing is, that doesn't last so long because we're never addressing the wound itself of where that came from. And so what ends up happening over time is we just keep trying to refill a hole. And if you know anything about holes, and people probably from Chicago, you know a lot about those potholes. If they're never filled, your car is just going to keep jumping and bumping over that thing. And then your car is going to keep getting messed up. Okay. So what you have to do is when you think about filling up your love cup is you really got to address the hole. You really got to channel on whatever happened in that hole for you. For some people, that's mental health therapy. Right? For some people, that's talking to a friend and talking to someone that can maybe guide them through that. For some people, that's prayer. For some other people, that is maybe creating a playlist. If you're into Spotify, iTunes, anything that has music, allowing yourself to maybe create some music around that can help with some healing. Okay. But the point of this is, are you filling up your love cup the way you should be? Okay. What that means is if maybe this hole is, I feel like I'm not good enough, right? I can't fill this hole with watching TV, like self-care in that way, or fill that hole with maybe I'm gonna go on a shopping spree. Because even though that is self-care for a lot of people, the hole is I feel like I'm not good enough. We gotta talk to the hole in the language that it needs. Okay? And so there's a lot of resources on your love language, right? So for me, if my love language is words of affirmation, or my wound is like from words, I would have to fill that hole with words. Maybe journaling about ways that I am good enough. Maybe talking to myself in a way that I would if I felt like I were good enough, right? Those are some of those things. If your wound is maybe from feeling that people just don't care about you enough, sometimes maybe saying like, I'm worth caring about, isn't going to fill that wound for you, right? Because that's words. You might need some services to fill that need, right? So that might be maybe spending time with people that actually do show you that they care about you explicitly. Maybe that's spending time with family members or doing things where you feel like you can be cared about, right? Sometimes it's not just on you to fill that wound for yourself. What I really encourage you to do is to take a nice, clear look at your love cup and to see how high is your love being able to be filled. Is it getting to the top, or are there some holes there that maybe need to be addressed? And to figure out what's the best way to address those things. And take your time with it. And again, if it becomes to the point where it is ever too overwhelming for you to do yourself, I highly recommend you looking into a mental health therapist, asking around, talking, because again, your love, we do a lot of self-love and think we have to carry everything by ourselves. But in reality, sometimes that hole that's there may need community. So I encourage you to reach out to people that you're close to or that you feel comfortable with, or even do your own research on Google, Yahoo, etc., to figure out some ways to kind of help support you as well. Hope you have a great day.